Hello and welcome to your Marketing for Business Events workshop. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this recording. My name is Gabrielle from Gift of the Gab Consulting. I've been working in collaboration with Tourism Top End to deliver a 5-part series workshop based around business events. And I've also been working with the team at Northern Territory Business Events, also known as NTBE, to help facilitate these workshops. I also want to start by acknowledging the land on which these workshops come to you from, of the Larrakia people, and I pay my respects to those past, present, and emerging. So, just a bit of an agenda for today. We're going to go through a recap on what we've done in the first few workshops. And then we're going to go into the nitty gritty of working within the business event space, from looking at the online component to distribution, trade shows, Famils, and site inspections. I do want to say though, up front, when it comes to marketing for business events, it is very different to what you would look at doing from a FIT, a free independent traveller strategy. Your free FIT, free independent traveller strategies, when it comes to marketing, tends to lean into more of your linking with key distribution partners and advertising on their platforms, or also using paid marketing channels such as your search engine optimization. Business events will operate in a different way. So, to recap from our first workshop, which was called the Introduction to Business Events, what is business events? Now, I'm not going to read all of that out, but to put it simply, business events is the gathering for an organisational purpose, most commonly seen in the territory for a meeting, conference, in the event space for awards nights, etc. So there's a wide variety of ways that we can look at what a business event is. However, I want to reiterate from previous workshops that when we look at the business event space, weddings and social events such as hands parties, wax parties, etc., does not fall under this category. So usually it's got some kind of business purpose behind it. So if you are looking at getting out into that field, definitely you'll be able to draw from some of the information that we talk about today. However, that would fall more under what we would call a group category. Now, why is business events so important to the Northern Territory? Um, of course, the biggest reason why it's so important is because it builds revenue for local businesses. We have a goal to reach, from the Northern Territory Government, to reach $68 million in the financial year of 2030 in business events expenditure. We're definitely on track to hitting that now. In the last financial year, we hit $49 million towards business events expenditure. The idea is those business events come to town, and local businesses will leverage off that from, say, your cafes, retailers, etc., when those guests who are coming for that business event have the opportunity to explore the city that they're in. When we look at business events, and you'll hear me talk about the different types of people involved, of course, we have you guys, our industry suppliers who provide the venues, the experiences, etc., who without you guys, we wouldn't be able to deliver any kind of business event. We then have what's called the decision makers, or as I'll refer to them, the clients. The clients they play a pretty integral role within the business event space, as they're the ones who are bringing the guests to the destination. And then the third party under the who is the government agencies, which is, in this case, NTBE, the Northern Territory Business Events team. And the way NTBE put the destination forward and they get business coming to the territory is by having 3 value propositions which make us unique to our competitors. And that's by showcasing enriching Aboriginal experiences, showing our iconic landscapes and our nature-based experiences. And of course, there's so many other factors that come into consideration, but this is just a simplified way that we put our unique selling points forward in order to ensure that we can get conversion. But that conversion part really needs a competitive edge as well to get the business events across the line, to choose us against our competitors. And the way NTBE do this is through something called the bid fund. So the way the bid fund works is, say there's a client that's looking at a destination to host their business event. If we're in competition with another destination, then the team at NTB can step forward and say, to secure this business event coming to the territory, we may, for example, offer $100 per person in order to subsidise some of the costings for that event, making it more enticing to come to the destination. So the team worked tirelessly to get these events across the line. Last year, they had 77 business events that came to the territory. That's not to say that there aren't more business events. There definitely are. And often these business events outside of meeting with the team at NTB may have reached out direct to a venue, as an example, and just gone direct with venues, tour operators, hotels, etc., to book in. So even though we know of 77 in the past year, there's definitely a lot more that don't come through the team at NTBE. The next in the series of workshops that we ran was based around product development for business events. So we had some really clear messaging from this workshop, because not every business will qualify to be in that business event category. For example, if you're a tour operator and you only take 6 passengers, chances are your product wouldn't align so much in the broader scheme of the business event space. Yes, potentially the incentive market, but in most cases with business events, there's a minimum capacity of 10 packs. So we really wanted to make sure in this workshop, and we do have a recording of this workshop if you want to go back and listen to it, that you could qualify yourself to see if you can fit into this space. We also in this workshop looked at what the client wants, and we were able to identify the 3 top things that a client is looking for when they're looking at a destination is a desirable destination, a quality program filled with great experiences, great locations, and wonderful hotels to stay at, amongst the many other experiences that could be provided in the program. But then something else that was really integral for their clients is the ability to extend, which led us into the next workshop called pre and post touring. So especially for those businesses that identified that maybe they don't qualify to be in this space, they would definitely qualify for pre and post touring. Pre and post touring or extended touring means that the clients can come up before or after a business event, or even return after the event has taken place. What this does for the client is it helps increase attendance from their guests coming to that business event, because it means that guests can tag on a couple of days and have a bit of a holiday. This increases excitement, and it also increases satisfaction and return of the delegates that want to come to the destination. Also, for our destination, it means that guests are staying longer, they're spending more, and they're getting out to more regions than where the business event would be held. So to be a part of the pre and post touring, Tourism Top End has aligned with NT Business Events for leads when it comes to clients bringing up a business event to the territory. And we'll work with that client on a closed landing page that's just for their guests that are traveling for the business event. What that means is we'll have products listed as per the client's request. So we do stay impartial at Tourism Top End to ensure as many businesses can get featured on the website. However, for the client, it may not relate if this is a very corporate event that's coming to town and hosting and putting up family-based activities. So we'll listen to what the client needs in order for us to have a landing page that relates to that guest that's traveling. So we are going to ideally put out an expression of interest very soon to all Tourism Top End members to see if there's anyone who would be excited to be listed on these landing pages. So stay tuned for them when that's coming. So that's it for the recap of the workshops. Hopefully you've got a decent insight. And once again, those first 3 workshops were recorded. So if there was something that you did miss, to help give more context as to why we're here today for Marketing for Business Events, then please reach out and let us know so we can share those workshops with you. Let's look at marketing for business events. So some key factors that we look for in marketing for business events is your brand visibility to clients. We want to help increase engagement for those clients, increase your networking capacity, but also drive conversion. And I'll come through at the end to really hone in on some points that you're going to see is going to be a recurring theme throughout this workshop. So here's a bit of an overview with a mind map as to how it would flow working in the marketing sphere for business events. So the ultimate goal is to work with clients, the clients who are the decision makers that bring these events to town. So just a list of potential clients you could be working with include professional conference organisers, destination management companies, association management companies, incentive houses, and in-house planners. And we can share some further information to explain what each of these companies represent. But I think it's just good to have an understanding that some of these guys may work internally for the organisation that is bringing the business event to town, and then others are external operators that are hired by organisations or associations to work on itineraries to build that business event and bring them to town. So often when we're looking at what we'll touch base with later, Famils and site inspections, they'll be the key demographics that we'll reach out to. So let's get started on the nitty-gritty of marketing. And you can't go past the online component. So let's have a look at how your website should look first and foremost if you want to pitch yourself as a business that will cater for business events. Firstly, and this is an example that I've pulled from an NT operator's website to showcase that when you're working with business events, it's really good if you have a drop-down menu to specifically say that you work in business events, and then have that as a click-through to a landing page where you can highlight so much more about your value propositions working in that business event space. So make sure you've got that headline. If you can, when you get to that landing page, put forward some testimonials. You never know, especially if there's a client such as a PCO, a professional conference organizer, that has left you a testimonial, and another client may know that person that's left that testimonial and could reach out to them in order to get their first-hand reference about what your experience was like. So that testimonial could be doing more work for you than what you first initially would have thought. Make sure when you have that landing page, you have contact information and also a call to action. That call to action could be contact us to get a quote for your business event. You could have a form to be filled in, or you could even have a call to action such as please fill in your information here and receive our newsletters. So make sure you have some advice that you're giving that potential client in order for them to find out a bit more about how they can contact and communicate with you. On your landing page, visuals are so integral. Make sure if you have images and videos that they are high res, that you showcase a diverse range of images. So it's not just your meals, it's ideally pictures of people having fun or any kind of unique aspects that you can put forward. Maybe it's an experience that you have in-house that you can put forward that your competitors may not be able to. And ideally, when you're doing your visuals, make sure people look like they're having fun. Pretty important to make sure that everyone looks like they're having a good time. Next is providing service descriptions. So letting the clients know what you can offer, your capacity, what your parking or travel arrangements look like, where your location is. Location's pretty key for business events. Putting forward floor plans or what the space would look like if you are a venue that's hiring out, what your setup could look like, any value adds. Let the clients know if you've got technology. Sometimes that can be make or break for a client. If they're looking at your website and you don't list AV at all, then you could potentially miss out to a potential competitor. So there's various ways that you can showcase what you offer on your website in order for you to secure that conversion from that client. Now that we've looked at what your website, and this was just a brief overview, of course, we can look more into what your website should look like with a bit of a deep dive. I do offer one-on-one mentoring sessions. So if it is something that you're keen for me to sit down with yourself and have a look at your website and look at ways to elevate, we can definitely do that in a one-on-one. You just need to reach out to me and we can look in a session. But another space that you could look at promoting is via your social media engagement. Now, within the FIT world, Facebook tends to be king. However, in business events, it's not always the way to connect with potential clients. Definitely quite popular for your pre and post touring. And it's kind of the same with Instagram. Instagram is still quite integral for the business event space. It does tend to be a little bit more inspirational for potential clients. But the way forward when it comes to business events is to make sure you've got an account on your LinkedIn. In this account, you want to make sure that you're linked in with as many potential clients as possible. If you have hosted, make sure you're putting up visuals and a little bit of a bio about that event that you've hosted and tag in any of those clients that have been involved within that business event. What that'll do is also have that domino effect where other potential clients who follow the client that you've just hosted, they can see what you've showcased. They'll jump in and see what you offer, and ideally, they'll reach out to you via LinkedIn in order to organize an event down the track. It also helps with legitimacy in this space. Another really important way to keep in contact is via your emails. So you may have a newsletter that's set up for the business event space, or you may just want to set up an electronic mail that you can send out. This could be potentially right after you've hosted an event, or maybe you've hosted something that's not a business event, but could be relatable to the business event world, where you could almost switch the wording to relate to business events and post that business event out to the network that you have. EDMs are really a great way to stay front of mind and keep your product at the forefront for potential clients. So for those that are interested in finding out a little bit more about how to work in that LinkedIn space and how to work with the essentials of EDMs, we will be hosting the last of our business events workshops on the 25th of June called Communications 101. We've got the tourism top end digital coach, Sean, who's going to come in and help facilitate the workshop so we can do a deep dive into how to work and operate LinkedIn and then your EDM essentials. So stay tuned for that workshop. So moving along the chain here, so we know before from when I mentioned about pre and post touring and product development. So if you are looking to evolve in that space, reach out to Tourism Top End. You can also reach out to the team at NTBE to help develop in that pre and post touring and product development space. However, that will more sit with your membership here at Tourism Top End. If you want to have your online presence more received by clients with NTBE, then it's a really integral. It's really integral to make sure that you're listed on their supplier page. So that's the website down the bottom there. Take that down while this slide is up. Make sure you jump onto NTBE's supplier, just even their page in general, to find out a little bit more information about what they do, how they operate. But this page is quite integral for where clients would visit to see what experiences they could potentially offer or look at what experiences would align with what their clients need in order to bring a business event to town. So double check that you're listed on this website. If you're not and you are business events ready, we can pass on the details for the team that would help set you up. Just a hot tip though, make sure that the content that you're using relates back to the business event space. For example, you could start it with, we're perfect for your business event because we can host XYZ. You'll figure out a way. And of course, we're so lucky in this day and age to have AI technology such as ChatGPT to help write a bio. So for example, you could jump onto ChatGPT and say, I need a 50 word bio to say XYZ to showcase my product for the business event space and see what it comes out with. Um, so yeah, we can definitely share those details and make sure once again the visuals or the images that you're putting forward, make sure when you are in contact with the team that your image represents working in the business event space. So another way to reach potential clients by the team at NTBE is making sure that you're attending trade shows. So the team at NTB will send out a prospectus every year listing all the potential trade shows that you could attend. Trade shows are a fantastic way to put your product in front of the decision makers. It also helps you build on established relationships if you've already been to these events. It's always, once again, it's really good to stay front of mind for any client. And just good to let them know any changes, updates, but also saying hello works wonders. Just being front of mind and saying hello and having fun and having a laugh with the client will do more for your business in the business event space than really anything else. It is the most integral part of staying front of mind. So potential events that you could go to throughout the year include AIM, the Oz SAE Conference, the Associations Forum, Professional Conference Organisers Association, National Franchise Convention, Association Forum, domestic-wise, and then international-wise, there's IMEX America and IMEX Frankfurt. Probably the most popular event that our Northern Territory operators will attend is AIM. So definitely keep an eye out on that prospectus to see if there's further opportunities and further events that you could join later on in the year. And probably one of the easiest ways for NT operators to ensure that they reach clients is to make sure that you're taking part in Famils and site inspections that are run in the Northern Territory. So a Famil is a really wonderful way for you to showcase your experience. From the perspective of NTB and other businesses that may bring events or bring Famils to the territory, it's a really great way for the decision makers to see what the destination looks like and ideally get that conversion across the line. Famils are often seen in three different categories in the business event sphere. So NTB will often host a few Famils throughout the year, and they will reach out to businesses that they know align with this business event space. They'll also have a look at what the clients look like that are coming and try and find the right products that fit into that space. Now, pretty key here, the team at NTB, they only know what they know. So if you haven't ever connected with them before, pretty important that you connect with that team so they can learn more about your product and encourage you to be across more of these Famil programs. They'll also put you forward to key stakeholders and strategic partners when they run Famil. So stakeholders may be Northern Territory base that will run a Famil of their own volition, such as the Darwin Convention Centre held meeting at Meet Darwin last week. And they aligned with several businesses that they collaborate with to help showcase what the destination does. Same with strategic partners. Strategic partners may not necessarily be based in the Northern Territory. However, they may have clients that are looking to come to the territory, and they're also looking for businesses to connect with to help convert and get that business across the line. But these guys, once again, they only know what they know. And usually their first point of call will be touching base with the team at NTBE to connect them with businesses that are ready to go in this space. Now, the other side of Famils is something called site inspections. So, site inspections are for organisers who are further along in their decision making process. They could have decided, yes, essentially they want to come to the territory. They're just maybe deciding on experiences that they want to lock in. Or we could still be competing with another destination. So, this is an attempt to really host that person and get them across the line. A site inspection will generally be quite tailored. It'll be private, and the itinerary might have a lot more experiences involved, so that person can really make decisions on, where they want to stay, what they want to do, venues they want to visit. Now, some hot tips if you are hosting either on Famils or on a site inspection. I love the saying prior preparation prevents poor performance. So preparation is king. Know your audience before they come to visit. This will give you a good idea of, especially you're quite a flexible experience, it'll give you an idea of how you can tailor your experience to that client, which will help get them across the line. If possible, let the team know a proposed itinerary of what you want to offer when they're on site. They may be able to give you some feedback about what may or may not work for that client. Um, any way of making it a personalised experience, that could be a drink on arrival, a welcome sign in the window, or simply all the staff knowing that this VIP is coming to visit. And make sure you're having a conversation. It's pretty important to ask them questions about what they're looking for. Um, you never know, there could be something that you may have missed in the brief, and then when you ask those questions, you could bring something to fruition that will really help get that experience across the line. When you are showcasing your experience, um, if you can, if possible, showcase any technology. If you offer technology, do live demos. So if you do have an entertainment experience, then give them a little taste tester of that, so they know what their potential guests will be experiencing. If you do catering, why not bring out a tasting plate? That's always fun. Um, and yes, of course, introduce them to key people. That could be a general manager or your events coordinator, and any kind of expert insight that you could relate back about your experience to what they would be looking for is key when you're showcasing your product. And I probably could not reiterate this enough. Make sure you're highlighting what separates you from your competitors. Because when we are hosting these Famils and site inspections, we're showing multiple experiences. So make sure you know how you can put yourself forward and win that business over somebody else who might be visiting. Um, so I know it may not have been what you were thinking marketing for business events would look like. And definitely, if you want to do a deep dive further into this sphere, I always highly recommend putting forward a marketing strategy and working on your marketing strategy. There's so many wonderful resources that can help support a marketing strategy. But really, in the business events space, um, networking is so integral. So making sure that you're front of mind with NTBE, with Tourism Top End, attending trade shows, and putting yourself forward for those Famils and site inspections. But once you have done that networking, then it's the nurturing aspect that really helps keep you front of mind. So continuous conversations, posting things via LinkedIn, keeping decision makers up to date by your EDMs. Just make sure you stay front of mind. Even if you've become friends with one of the clients, no reason why you can't just give them a buzz every now and then to say, hey, how's it going? Is there anything coming up? Or letting them know about, hey, we've got this new experience, or hey, I'd really love your feedback. We're thinking about doing the XYZ in the business event space. You're an expert. Would love to hear your feedback. Just any touch point to really ensure that they think of you when they think of the territory. So there's definitely ways that we can deep dive further into ways marketing in the business event space could work for you. Um, this is such a generic approach across the board because we've definitely got businesses that have joined us on these workshops that are more advanced and some that are quite new to the scene. Regardless, we are offering those one-on-one workshops. So if you do want a deep dive, please reach out to me. But don't forget, we have our workshop on the 25th of June for LinkedIn and EDMs. So thank you for joining me. Really happy to connect, touch base, and also connect you with more team members from Tourism Top End to be on the client landing pages, with NTB to be on their supplier landing page, but also to connect with the team at NTB so they can know more about your product. Thank you again for your time, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.